and welcome to this first MagicDoor tutorial. Today we're going to be doing a basic overview of the entire software. Later down the line we will have more detailed tutorials of different features and questions that you may have about how to use the software. So let's get started with just logging in, and we're on our home page. Also, just make sure that your tab is in the center of your screen so that you can see this navigation bar above me here to the left and all of your home page. So this is your home page. This is a basic overview of everything you might want to see at a quick glance. This is also customizable, so I'm going to show you how to do that. So each of these boxes is what we call a module. A module is simply any of the boxes that we're going to see on any screens throughout the software. We have maintenance requests, rental applications, and some other stuff that is coming soon. It is currently under construction. So first, how do we customize? If you go up here to the upper right hand corner, you'll see this instrument panel layout. Click this button. This is going to bring up a little dashboard down here where you have a few buttons. You have cancel, save, custom module, and edit dashboard layout. First, I'm going to show you the custom module. So go ahead and click that button. Here, a screen is going to pop up with all of your options of what modules we let you have on your home screen. There's quite a few options, and some of them may be important to you and may not. This is where you can customize it. So if you don't want something on here, simply scroll to what you don't want by going up and down, just like you normally scroll, and just click this little check mark. If there is a check mark on there, like here, that means that this will be on your home page. If there is no check mark, like on things to do, that means this will not be showing up on your home page. Alternatively, you can go up here and see what is currently selected, and you can simply press X. That will also remove it, and as you can see now, I put X on maintenance request, and now there is no check mark. To reactivate it, simply click the check mark. You can also press Restore Default, which is going to add all 7 of the module options back to your home page. So customize this however you want, and now the most important step is to press Confirm. If you don't press Confirm, nothing will save. That goes for everything on the software. If there is a Save or Confirm button, make sure you press that. So press Confirm, and now we have our custom modules. Now you can actually edit the layout as well. This is very simple. Simply click on the actual module and it lights up purple. Make sure you are still in our section up here. So if this is not highlighting when you click on it, all you have to do is click this little button up here again. Make sure this dashboard pops up down here and click on whichever module you want to move. As you can see, the more I click on them, they turn purple. So the one that is highlighted is the one that you're currently working with. You can simply drag it to move it wherever you want, anywhere on the screen, and you can also change how big it is. So let's say I want leases with balance due to be the full screen and the first thing that I see. You're gonna just click full. You can also make it a half page, a 2/3 page, and a 1/3 page. So this is just up to you. I would prefer to have leases with balance due front and center, full page. And then let's say I want to have rental applications up here under it, and I want maintenance requests to be directly beside it. We're just going to drag and drop and then change it to whatever size you want. Once again, we want to make sure that we're pressing save. You see that there's also a remove module button when you're clicked on a module. You can also remove a module this way. So press save, and now you have your custom home page, and we're ready to actually dive into how to use the software. One more note on this home page is that everything is clickable within our software. So you can easily click on any of these options to be taken directly to the lease, or you can click view all. And just everything throughout our software is going to be clickable, so keep that in mind if you just need to quickly access something. First, we're going to be starting down here in the properties section. So this is our main navigation bar here to the left. As you can see, we have properties, listings, leasing, users, accounting. This is where you can access everything. So first, we're going to start with properties. Now, just a quick tip. If you ever need to add or edit anything, whether it's a lease, a unit, a property, or a tenant, just go to this left side navigation and click exactly what you want to do. So if you're dealing with a tenant, that is a user. So you would click users, go to tenants, and then you have access to all of your tenants. Once again, everything is clickable. If you are needing to change something about a unit, you would simply go to properties and find that specific unit within your portfolios. So that's just a basic rundown, but here we go. Let's hop into the properties section. So clicking on a property button right here, this takes you to your portfolio overview. So we break down things in the system starting with your portfolio, and then it is going to go to your properties and then the units within the properties. And all of that can be found here in the property section. If you are needing to create a new portfolio, you'll simply go to this button up in the upper right hand corner and press create portfolio. So let's say we're going to have Gryffindor here, and then just press confirm. This gives you your new portfolio overview. So Hogwarts, I already have a few properties in here. So within this portfolio, you have your properties. Your portfolio overview is going to show you your portfolio distribution, your rent receivable, your occupancy rate, all of the properties within it. And then you also have this navigation bar where you can simply edit a portfolio name or deactivate it. And you can see any announcements, but this is under construction right now. So back to the portfolio overview. Within the portfolio, you see what kind of properties you have. As we can see in this portfolio, we have 4 multifamily properties. All your properties will be listed directly right here. To create a new property, you would simply click add a property and enter all information needed. If there is a red asterisk, that means that is required to be able to enter this in. And then you would simply press create property. And I'm not going to do that right now. Okay, so here we have our properties. It is going to show us the property type. So as we can see, this is a multifamily represented by this little emoji. And if you hover, it tells you. You have your empty units, your active units, any rental applications for that specific property, and conveniently, any outstanding balances directly right here on the overview. So now if you just simply click on any of your properties, you are then brought to your property overview. So first you have your portfolio overview. Now we are in our property overview. Here, there are lots of things to look at. We have many modules. We have our property revenue overview with our outstanding balances. And if you click here, you also get an overview of your income and expenses. You also have a module for quick actions. So if you need to add a unit or modify an owner, edit the property, or add a service bill, that is going to be found in this quick action module. You also have your expiring leases, leases with upcoming renewals, any maintenance requests, and once again, this is all clickable. So up here in the purple section, you have your navigation bar for the property overview. So right now we're looking at our property, the Gryffindor dorm room. And then you can click on all of these navigation buttons. So we're gonna have units, applications, announcements, photos, owners, and files. This is going to be everything that is attached to this specific property. So now we want to see the units within our properties. Simply click units. Now we are seeing all of the units that we have. We see, the bedrooms, the square footage, the lease. We can see what type of lease this is. So this would say month to month if it was month to month, or not active lease, and that is also signified by a color. So since this is a fixed term lease, it is green. And we see our dates easily. We see our rent, our deposit, balances, and we have some more modules. So we can see our vacant and occupied here, our rent receivable, our expiring leases, and you can even easily add a unit with our quick action button directly above the units module. That is right here. When adding a unit, all you have to do is give it a name. So let's say this is unit A. I can always come back and add this information at any time. So if you're in a hurry, just add a unit name, create the unit. And then you can easily edit that unit by just clicking on it and pressing edit unit within this top navigation. So it's very simple to understand and navigate. If you have a lot of units within a property and you're looking for a specific one, we also do have a search bar which will help you find your units quickly. So we simply went to properties, we had our portfolio overview, you click on a portfolio to get your property overview, and then you click on units, and then when you want to access a specific unit, simply click on the unit down here. Now, this is going to bring up all the information pertaining to this unit, the leases, the tenants, anything you need to access that has to do with this unit can be found here. So you have this upper navigation bar, and this top bar of the navigation bar is going to relate to the unit. So you have your unit overview, the leases within the unit, the rental applications attached to this unit, basic unit information, and any photos and files attached to the unit. You can also simply edit a unit in this section. On this bottom bar of the navigation, this is actually going to take you directly to the lease attached to the unit. So the top is about the unit and the bottom is about the lease. So if I click current leases, as you can see, it switched where I'm located on the left side menu. But we're still accessing the unit, and I can simply click unit overview to get back to the unit information. We have a couple modules here, such as the basic information, the leases, the balance. Soon we will have the listing syndication here as well, the maintenance requests, and soon there will be your latest payments. We also have a quick action button to literally set up a new lease directly right here attached to the unit. Now, if your navigation bar is a different color, when you go to the lease, the colors are based on the type of lease. So green is going to be your fixed term leases, red will be an eviction lease, orange will be your month-to-month lease, and gray means that the lease has ended. You don't need to memorize this, it is more for your convenience, so it really pops out at you to tell what kind of lease this actually is. So like I said, when you go to any of these bottom navigation buttons, this does bring you to the lease. We'll go over the leasing section in a second once we get to it based on our left side navigation. Now, a reminder that we actually do support multiple leases for the same unit at the same time if that applies to you, so you'll be allowed to do that. Now, we're going to move on to our next section on our left navigation bar, which is your listings. This is under construction, so we're not going to go over this right now, but this will be a really cool feature coming soon. So now moving actually into our leases. So when you click on leasing, you have leases, rental applications, and draft rental applications. Let's start by looking at our leases. First, you're going to be presented with your lease overview with all of your leases that have a balance due. You can also search a lease, and you can even filter based on the portfolio, property, start date, or end date. You can also easily, with this quick action button, set up a new lease. And once again, everything is clickable. So you can post a charge here. You can remind the tenant. You can click on it and once again be brought back to this page where we can look at a specific unit's leases. So just to show you how quick and easy this is, let's set up a new lease together. So first, you're going to select one of your units. Then you're going to add a tenant. You can choose from your database or press add a new tenant. All you need is their first name. So let's do Hermione. Probably butchered that spelling. But all you need is their first name to be able to add them into the database. And then later on at any point, you can edit this information. Or if you have this information, obviously go ahead and fill it out. And once again, make sure we're pressing confirm. Then you have your tenant. You can also add multiple tenants onto this lease. Then press confirm. As you can see, we have our unit, our tenants that are going to be in this unit. Then we can select, is it a fixed term or month to month? And we can press our start date and our end date. Then make sure you check whether or not this is going to transfer to a month to month after the term is over. Then press next. Here you can enter your rent amount and your description. Obviously, this is going to be rent. You can select from your chart of accounts, but it is going to automatically go to the rent income. And we actually offer where you can split the rent into 2 monthly payments or just 1 monthly payment. The 1 monthly payment will be pulled on the 1st, and if you do 2 monthly payments, it'll be on the 1st and the 15th. We can also adjust this in the settings, which we will get to later, but most people are just going to have that one monthly payment. Then select what date they will first get charged, and you can even add prorated charges and just simply enter that in right here. Let's say they get $600 prorated. You can also add any other charges that you need here. Obviously, just fill this information out, and you can add as many charges as you need. Press next, and then you can select that they had no deposit or that they gave you a deposit, whether that was cash or check. You can go ahead and enter that amount that you physically received here. And then press finish. And now you have a brand new lease. So back to our overview. Here, obviously, we're just seeing our leases with balance due. You can also click up in this navigation bar to see all your leases. Once again, we can search your expiring leases, your draft leases, this is the one I just made, and any of your past leases. So then let's go into a specific lease. Once again, we're just doing that by simply clicking on the lease. Boom. Now we are in the lease overview. So let's go over this lease overview. Once again, this bottom navigation section is all about the lease. So you have your current leases attached to this unit. You have your communications with these tenants. You have the rent charges, transactions, deposits, emails, and any files attached to this lease. So in our current lease section, we have multiple modules: balances, the lease term, the rent amount, quick actions, your tenants, your maintenance requests, and once again, this is all going to be clickable. You can even see the past tenants that have lived in this unit before. And if you do want to actually go to a tenant, you can do that here by just clicking on the tenant. Let's go back. So here are our quick action buttons. We can easily edit the lease here by clicking Edit Lease. Make all your changes and then make sure to press save. You can also start an eviction here, but in these quick action buttons, you can easily start a new lease, extend this lease, start an eviction. If you do start an eviction, this is not going to notify the tenants. This is just like for you and your information that you have started an eviction for this lease. You can also end the lease here and add a service bill. Let me show you what it looks like to end a lease. So we would simply click End Lease, confirm, and now it's gray. Remember how I said that the colors change based on the type of lease? So this means that the lease is ended. You can reactivate the lease easily. You can copy and start a new lease. You can add a service bill. I'm just going to go ahead and reactivate this lease. And let's now move on back over here on our left section. We're still under leasing. We're going to go to our rental applications. So this is where you would see all your new pending rental applications. As you can see, I don't have any right now. You can also see all your applications here, like all of them, not just the pending ones. You can see the approved ones and the rejected ones. Now, notice how no matter where I click, we still have both of these easy, quick buttons. This will take you directly to your application settings where you can change, all information pertaining to the application. We'll get into the settings later in this video. So let me just take us back real quick. The other option we have is new rental application. The reason for this is that if you have a tenant come in person, you don't want to have to necessarily give them a link to fill out online. You have them in person. So you can have them fill out a paper form, hand that to you, and then you can actually go in and fill out the information for the tenants. This goes for any tenant information, whether that's payment information, filling out an application for them, or their contact information. You have the option and the ability to be able to fill this out for them. So you're just going to simply go through and fill out this application based on the information that they have given you. I won't go through that right now, but that is how you do it. So really cool is that MagicDoor uses AI throughout our entire software, and this is one of the first places that you're going to see it. As you can see, we have an AI score. So this is a score from 1 to 100 on basically how qualified this tenant is for your unit. So let's click on this application. Now we have the renter report, and we can even press communication to directly communicate with them. We'll go into more detail about communication in a little bit. So that rating that it gives you, it's also going to give you why exactly they had this rating. Now, we don't want to use this for any sort of like actual deciding who's going to be our tenant because of legal reasons. This is just more for you and to look at it. Basically, it's just going to give you a score based on their application. Now you have some quick action buttons. We love quick action buttons. You can easily approve, ignore, or reject, request a report, access their information directly right here. We also have potential units for them and some other units that they may be interested in. You also have their rental history, their work history, their documents, and you can see we have lots of buttons. We can update any of this, we can remove these, we can add potential units. So there's a lot of buttons you can press to be able to change stuff. You also have this section on the left is just going to bring you directly to those different points of the application. So if you approve a application, you can easily convert to a lease or convert to a tenant. You also see their payment status if they paid or haven't paid their rental application yet. So that's rental applications. Now, this is a cool feature. Let's go back over here on the left side navigation to draft rental applications. As you can see, I don't have one, so let me make one real quick. Okay, so now I have a draft rental application. So someone may be filling out a rental application and for whatever reason they didn't finish. Maybe they even filled out the entire application but they just didn't pay. You can actually go here and see where they are within the application process and what information they've given you so far. So let's say you look through all this and you're like, this is actually a really great tenant, but they just haven't paid or haven't filled out some of it. This is where the communication tab comes in. You can easily just message them and say, hey, I saw your application, it looks really great. Can you just pay and we'll get you approved? We want to get you moved in, or ask them, any question that you have. So those are the basics for the leasing section. We're now going to move into users. So first you have property managers, which is you. And here, you can add your property managers. You can see that they're active. We also sometimes you see throughout the platform have a little 3-dot button. This is just another easy way to edit or change anything. And you can obviously always just click on the person. So then moving on, this is the big one. This is tenants. So this is your tenant overview. This is a list of all of your tenants. So you can easily access this. You can search for a tenant and you can easily add a tenant with this button in the active tenants module. Now, there's also going to be some other information like if they're leased, if they're not leased yet, which lease they're under, their lease status, and their balance. Once again, we have these little buttons to the side where you can easily edit or deactivate a tenant. These are all clickable. Here I can see all of the stuff pertaining to the specific tenant. So this is your tenant overview. You have all of their information, you have their current lease, you can set up a lease here. We have their latest payments, their files, emergency contacts, rental application. So this is where you can access all your specific tenant information. You also have a quick communication tab here to directly communicate with this tenant. You can see their payments. If they have auto pay set up, you'll be able to see that here, their linked accounts, their debit cards, their previous payments, and you can easily print this out as well. You can also see all of their maintenance requests, their emails, any files attached to this. And this is actually where you can give them access to the tenant portal. So what you would do is just go to the tenant like I just showed you, and then you'll come to this button here, Activity and Portal Access. You would click Send Invite. It would automatically send them a message through the communication tab via either phone number or email, whichever one you have selected. So they don't need an app or anything like that. This is just going to send them a direct link. So we're back here over on the tenant overview. This is where you can simply and easily quickly update their information. So you will just see their information here on this left side module with their name, and you're just going to click this little pencil button and you can update all of their information. And then once again, just make sure we're pressing submit so it actually saves. So if you need to add their email, change their email, add their phone number, whatever it is, that can be done directly here. The last thing in our users tab is going to be the owners. This is just where you can insert all of your owners. Pretty straightforward. So now we're going to move on to accounting. So here we have a couple of different options: bank accounts, bills, chart of accounts, you know the drill. We're going to go first. Sorry about that. We're going to go first to bank accounts. So this is where you can actually connect your bank accounts through Plaid. We'll go over that in a different video if you haven't connected your bank account yet. But if you click on an account that is connected, you can see all the transactions. Now on to bills. So here we can pay bills, we can add a bill, we can view bills. Once again, everything is clickable, so easily click this. You can print, you can change the information, you can review the information. You can pay a bill here, and you would just simply select all of the information, just fill it out and make sure you're filling it out, pressing next, and saving everything that you do. You can add a bill. Here you can also see the memo, the vendor, the amount, the unpaid balance, and once again we have this little dot button here, which will allow you to also edit or pay a specific bill. Now over here to chart of accounts. So this is customizable. If you need to add an account, just simply go to which section this would be under. So we have assets, liability, equity, revenue, expenses, and you can easily just click on any of those to add an account. You can give it an account name, then you're going to put it on its parent chart of account, and then its offset chart of account if you need that. And we also have our little ... to just add a child account to your parent account. So then we can go to company overview. Here, this is about your property management company. So you can adjust your management fees. This will take you directly to settings. In settings is where you are going to add your fee type, whether that's going to be percentage or fixed, your minimum fee, just all the information pertaining to your fees. You can also add manual management fees, doing it this way. And you can add management fees, doing it this way. So this is just all about your property management company, You also have your property credits, you can add those here, your payouts, and your company revenue. This is under construction, but this will give you an overview of how you are doing your income, your operating expenses, all of the above. So then we have our owner funds tab over here. We have owner distributions and owner contributions. You'll be able to see all of them here. And you can also filter, print, add a distribution, and calculate a distribution. Okay, it was loading, but now all of my owners are here. So here you can see who the owner is, the amount. We can calculate this distribution, like I said, and you can see their contributions. Now on to deposit slips. This is where you would find all deposit slips if this is something you need, and you can easily just press this button to create a deposit slip, and then, just follow the order to do that. So click on one, and then you would just press submit. Now on to checks. So this tab is going to display a list of all your check transactions. Here is your overview. This is our next check number. You can change this to whatever you want your check number to be. You have your vendor checks and your owner checks. I don't have any checks, but this would show the check number, the name of the owner or vendor, the date the check was drawn, the bank account name, and the amount. And you could also reprint or delete any check from this section. So now on to reports. This page is pretty straightforward. Once again, we're just going to access that by our left side navigation tab. You can click on any of these reports that you need and easily print them. So that is pretty straightforward, easily click. So now let's move on to maintenance. We have our vendors, our maintenance requests, our work orders, and our AI runbooks. So we'll be starting with vendors. This is a list of all of your vendors. Any vendor you've ever entered in, you can search for a specific vendor, and you can use this button at the upper right-hand corner to add a vendor. All you need is their name, and you'll be able to add them. Of course, you'll want to add as much information as you have. Just simply click on the left side. You have contacts, banking information, payment information, insurance, and you have the payment settings. So go ahead and save that. Once you have all the information, you'll press create vendor. So here's John. I just created John. And if we want to view a specific vendor, it's just like viewing tenants. We just simply click. Now we have our vendor overview. Let me show you one that we have more information for. So we click on this vendor, and you have the vendor overview. So here you have all of their information, and you have all these little drop downs so that you can see their payment information, bank, insurance, and all that. You can also easily edit this just the same way you would a tenant. Click this little button up here, the pencil paper button, and you can simply edit any of this. After you make your edits, press save changes. So I actually just made a change. We're gonna press save, easy. We also get a general overview. So we have the total bill. We see the amount of bills pending, their gross transaction, communications. Here, these are the unpaid bills. We can click on these and pay the selected bills. We can click them all and pay. We can click just one and pay. So here you can even adjust the amount that you want to pay. And then you can choose the print check option, or you can do manual. And then you would simply just pay the bill. Back in this overview, you can also add a bill with this add a bill button. And you would just fill all of this out and press submit. We also have the work orders down here. So as you can see, we have an unpredictable heating system functionality work order. This is pending. We can click on these work orders to view the work order, or you can even click view all, and here are all the work orders attached to this vendor. Up here at our top navigation, we have general, which we just went over. We have bills. Once again, we can see all the unpaid bills and all the bills in general. We have the activity log, which will be coming soon. Communications, where you can directly message your vendor. Once again, this is going to send directly to either their phone number if you have that selected, or their email if you have that selected, or both if you have them both selected. Any emails that were sent, any files attached to this, and just any notes. This is coming soon. And that is your vendor basics. Now on to maintenance requests. So new maintenance will be all of the new maintenance requests. I'm gonna make one. Let's make one together so that we can see what this looks like. So you can simply just press add a maintenance request, and you're gonna go through and fill this out. So I'm gonna say the sink is leaking. You would add any sort of files. You can select a lease or a tenant that this attaches to. I'm gonna select a lease, and then you can select the tenant within that lease, and fill out the permission to enter, the status, the priority, a memo, and you can choose to use or disable AI here. I'm going to use AI. So then we'll press create maintenance request. So now if we go back to our main maintenance request tab, we see we have one new maintenance request. Now what's really cool is we use AI to prioritize our maintenance. So AI is going to take all the information that the tenant has given you and prioritize it. A sink leaking is obviously super high priority that can cause a lot of issues. So our AI has given it a 95 out of 100. That means this is top priority. If we had something else that was a lower priority, such as a kitchen cabinet knob needs replaced, that's obviously not going to be as important as a sink leaking. So it would just go ahead and rate it lower. So this will help you know the urgency of a maintenance request. Over here on the specific maintenance request, we once again have this 3-dot button. Here we can modify the priority if we don't agree with the AI. We can modify the status. Is it pending, in progress, closed, canceled? We can edit the maintenance request, and we can delete it. We can also, once again, everything's clickable. We can just click directly on this maintenance request, and it is just going to show us all the information. We're going to go over the AI runbook in just a second, but you can check out the runbook that was ran and the communications. A quick overview is that a runbook is going to go ahead and ask the tenant questions based on what they have submitted. It looks a little complicated. It's not as complicated as it looks, but there are some we'll go over in a second that are already implemented into the software for you. The AI is then going to go ahead and ask them a question. So, can you tell me where the water is coming from? Is it the roof, a wall, or somewhere else? The tenant can respond, and then the AI will ask the next question based on the runbook. So this is going to save you a ton of time when trying to figure out some basics about a maintenance request and what needs to be done to fix it. We also have processing AI, pending, in progress, waiting for work order, and closed. So you can access all of your maintenance requests right here in this one section. And once again, on all of these tabs, you're able to search, you're able to filter, and you can always add a maintenance request. As you can see, these are my pending maintenance requests. And when I click on one, I get a couple of things that I can look at. We see the priority, we can check out the communication, We also have details on which lease and unit this is applied to. We can even go in and edit this if we need to, or you can press convert to work order and then you can select a vendor to assign this to. So that's the basics of the maintenance request. So now let's hop into work orders. So we just converted a maintenance request to a work order. What's next? Here we have all of our work orders. It has the priority, the unit, the vendor, the due date, the create time. Of course, you can click on all these. You can also press these three dots to modify the status, assign a maintenance request, assign a vendor, edit it, close it, delete it. Here you'll also get the status, title, priority, property, and due date of work orders that are being worked on. You can also add a work order up here. You would just simply fill all of this out and press create work order. And then you also have a completed tab where you would be able to see all completed work orders. So that's the basics of work orders. Now let's talk a little bit about these AI runbooks. Here you see these are the ones that are going to come with the software. You have a water leak management protocol, a garbage disposal not working, toilet or sink blockage resolution, air conditioning not cooling. These are some basics that are also probably high priority that you'll want a runbook for. So once again, a runbook is simply just a script that the AI can send to the tenant automatically if it recognizes that the tenant has activated it. So for instance, this one is a water leak management protocol. If someone says their bathtub is leaking, their sink is leaking, their fridge is leaking, whatever it is, the AI will automatically send a message. So for example, it'll say, hello, the tenant's name. I understand there's a water leak issue at your place. We need to address this immediately to prevent further damage. Then it is going to start asking questions. Can you tell me where the leak is coming from? How severe is the leak? How long has this been happening too? So on the tenant side, it looks like they're just directly texting with the property manager, answering these simple questions. And then when you check on the communication with that maintenance request with the tenant, you'll be able to see all the answered questions, which will help your maintenance people be able to address the maintenance request quickly, efficiently, and properly. The overview just tells you what this is going to be outlining. The script are the specifics. You can also create custom runbooks. So you have this tab, which would have all of your custom runbooks, and you can create one by clicking this Create Custom Runbook button. So here you would just write out a script for any sort of runbook that you want to run, asking the AI to ask specific questions about a type of maintenance request. This feature is an amazing way that we are using AI to really change the game, so get familiar with these AI runbooks. So that's pretty much everything as far as maintenance. Let's move on to associations. Here, all we have is just the violations tab. These are any violations that have happened within your association. You can add a violation with this upper right-hand button, fill out the description, the HOA, the property unit, everything that you need here, and just add the association violation. You can tell them what day to fix it by, the status. You got to select your unit, your property, and the violation reference number you can add here as well. Let's say parked car in wrong spot. And you would just simply add this violation. So here, once again, is your list of all your violations. Let's click on one. So once again, these are all clickable. And here, you can get more information about the violation. You can edit the violation. You can send an owner notification with this owner module down here. You can create a work order about this violation. And then you can even add a bill. So if you go to lease bills, you can add a lease bill, and this will be for the violation. So if there's a $50 charge for the HOA because they violated a HOA rule, you can simply add that here and submit it to the lease. Back in our violations overview, we have the title, the property it's associated with, the status, the violation date, fixed by date, association fee if you're adding one, and then this 3-dot button allows you to modify the status, edit, or delete it. So now we're moving on to communications. We'll start with our communications dashboard. These are just all your unread messages, which once again, we can always just click on them. But where we're mostly going to be living is in this chats section. So here it organizes all of your communication into different categories. Your lease chats, tenant chats, owner chats, vendor chats, We use AI a lot within our communications, and it is going to simplify everything for you. So let's just quickly talk about our communication AI. So AI is going to be used to be able to send your tenant notifications, links, anything that has to do with their lease, their unit, their payments. So when you send them a link to the tenant portal, like I showed you how to earlier, AI will create the message and automatically text it to them. AI can also send documents that are ready to be signed with a link. It can send notifications like this that a payment has been made, and we'll go over announcements in a second. So within our tenant chat, let's click on a tenant. So this is our tenant, Ron Weasley. And we have a bunch of really cool options with this. So first off, based on the information they've given you, if they want to receive email or text message, we can select both or one of them down below. What this means is when I text this tenant through this portal, let's say, "Hey Ron," it is going to send them a direct text message or email, depending on which one you have selected. So let's say it's text message. This is just going to come through their phone. They don't have an app or anything they need to download. We can also use AI to polish our messages so we sound a little bit more professional. So let's say Harry Potter is late on rent. I can be like, "Yo, where's the money at?" And then press Magic It. It'll bring up this little module. Press Magic It. It's going to use AI to write a better message so you have a professional message. Where I typed, "Yo, where's my money at?" AI typed, "Hello, I hope this message finds you well. Can you please provide an update on the rent payment? Thank you." And then you can either edit that by just typing, or you can just send it. We'll go over it in a second, but in settings, you can adjust if the tenant can see that it is AI texting them or it just always looks like it's a real person. You can also add files with this button down here. And then another really cool aspect is you can decide what language you will be chatting in. So let's say this tenant only speaks Spanish. That's the only way they know how to communicate. You can select Spanish, and what this is going to do is every time you type and send something in English, it's going to automatically translate it. They will receive the message in Spanish. Then, when they reply in a texted Spanish message, it'll automatically translate it to English for you to see. So you can communicate with tenants who speak any language with no language barrier simply in the communications tab using our AI. So another cool thing that our AI does is make automatic group chats. So let's say that there is a work order or a maintenance request involving multiple tenants or a vendor and a tenant. It's going to automatically make a group chat with whoever is involved with the maintenance request and the vendors and you. So you can all communicate in one group chat. It's going to send them text messages so you can figure out when they can show up for the maintenance request, maybe ask some more questions, and just easily communicate. So we can access that in the work order group chat tab. Just simply click on it for it to drop down. Now, we had this work order about an unpredictable heating system function, and AI automatically sent this message and created a group chat with everybody involved. So if I click up here, I see that we have my vendor, we have the tenant, and the other tenant who is on this lease. So this is everybody involved in this work order. Anybody can message within this communication tab, and it'll all be in one group chat. I don't have an incoming message to show you right now, but one more thing that our AI does is clarify an incoming message. So let's say Harry Potter sent me a message and it didn't really make sense to me. There were no spaces, no punctuation. It was poorly written. There will be a button that you can press to have AI rewrite it, and it'll do just like it corrected my poor grammar with the magic button. It'll correct their poor grammar so that you can easily understand. So now onto announcements. Here's a list of all of your announcements that have been made. You can see the subject, when it was sent, and how many people it was sent to. You can click on it to get a little bit more information about it, and you can add a new announcement by clicking Add Announcement. You can select if this is going to go to leases, tenants, owners, or vendors, and then you'll just go ahead and go through all of the questions that this asks. Then you'll add your message, your subject, review it, and then press finish. Now it has automatically been sent. So that's the basics of communications. Now let's talk a little bit about settings. Here you can access all your settings. You have this left bar navigation where you can click on any of this to be able to edit all this type of information. One main thing that I want to show you is if you go down to chats and click text, up here you will get include AI tag. If you turn this on, it'll alert your tenant that an AI is messaging them when our AI sends them a message. If you leave it off, it'll just look like a property manager is the one sending all these messages. But just mess around in settings, check out where everything is. You have your general property, where you can choose the reserve, the owner approval amount, your vendor approval amount. You can choose what sort of rent notifications get sent, how often to notify them. We have our rent payment settings, our deposit payment settings, work order settings, rent processing, late fees. This is a big one, so you want to come in here and make sure you put if it's a fixed or a percentage, how much, when these get sent, and make sure you're pressing save after you make any adjustments. Here you can once again access the management fees and set your management fees for your owners. You also have a few maintenance request settings, contribution settings, and you can also go through your rental application settings. So how much you'll charge, what kind of information you need from your tenants, the fees and chart of accounts associated with rental applications, and the actual questions you will ask on your rental application. And that is settings basics. This is pretty much a quick breakdown of MagicDoor software, how you can access everything. It is simple, it is straightforward, and it's user-friendly. So anytime you need to find something, you can just go to this left bar navigation and go directly to what you're trying to do. We'll make more in-depth videos about how to do specific tasks within MagicDoor so that you can become a MagicDoor Pro and get the most out of this software. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.